Dave, a ghost story. I've never been in a haunted house, and I have no desire to explore one, and I'd like to tell you why. Now, this is a story about my older and dumber brother Dave. Now, Dave is one of those guys who is the world's greatest authority on things he knows nothing about. In fact, the less he knows, the greater his expertise. Dave is the kind of guy who would argue with Einstein and tell him the theory of relativity was just one man's opinion, sir. Well, one Saturday night, many moons ago, Dave was sitting with his loser buddies in the local Tim Hortons when they began discussing, for some reason, ghosts in the afterlife. Let's just say Dave was decidedly a skeptic. I don't believe in ghosts, that's just BS. You ever seen one? Why, if some ghost floated in here after a double-double. For non-Canadian listeners, that's a coffee with 2 cream, 2 sugar. Hey, if some ghost floated in here after a double-double, why, I'd grab him by the sheet and throw it into the washing machine. And I wouldn't be afraid to spend the night in any so-called haunted house. Why, I bet everything in my wallet. He proceeded to slap the wallet on the counter. It contained a whole $2 in bills and a Toronto subway token. Why, I'd bet everything in my wallet that I could stay all night. No problem. Well, it seemed like a pretty safe bet. Where would you find a haunted house in our suburban town? Unfortunately for Dave, there was one. The house sat right on the lake, just down from the park. A family had disappeared from it under mysterious circumstances. It was a classic disappearance. The neighbors had noticed the papers piling up on the front step and the mail piling up in the mailbox, and had called the police. When the police entered, they found the station wagon still in the garage and all the family's clothes in their closet. The TV was on, and the bathtub upstairs was full of water, now cold, as if someone had been about to take a bath. There were even plates with rotting food? Well, there were several plates, so it was foods. There were even plates with rotting food on the dining room table, as if a meal had been hastily interrupted. But where were the people? In 18 months, no one had seen them. Well, Dave still felt pretty safe. Oh, I'd be glad to do it. I'd be glad to spend the night in that place, but hey, it's probably all locked up by the cops, eh? And I wouldn't want to, break in, eh? No problemo, said one of his loser friends. The old police padlock on the front door was rusty and had fallen off, and the front door was unlocked. And that is how Dave ended up standing in the darkened living room of the abandoned house at midnight. Well, Dave had hoped the TV was still there and that they'd had cable. But there was nothing but dust. He was sorry he'd opened his big mouth, not because he was afraid of ghosts, but because he was afraid of spending a long, boring night with nothing to do and no one to talk to or talk at, because he couldn't leave before 7 o'clock the next morning. He decided to explore the main floor and found nothing. So he decided to go upstairs. Well, the only thing upstairs was a bed, or at least a bare mattress in one of the rooms. So he decided he might as well lie down and get some shut-eye. So Dave sat down on the edge of the mattress and kicked off his smelly sneakers and lay down with his socks full of holes in the toes and his big, horny, pointed toenails sticking out. Now, my brother Dave had the sharpest, horniest toenails of any human being. He was more like a Neanderthal man that way. And his toenails, his sharp, pointed toenails, they put holes in the toes of all the socks. So every pair of socks he had holes in the toe. And his His toenails were so sharp that if you kicked one of your car tires, you'd get a flat. So Dave lay down and, "Hey, what's that light shining in my face?" He realized that the full moon over the lake was shining through the window, which had no curtains, and shining right in his eyes. Well, after a moment's reflection, Dave decided that there was nothing for it but to move the mattress someplace else. "Hey, how about below the window? Then I can sleep with my head out of the moonlight." And so Dave began to push and push and push the mattress across the hardwood floor. And as Dave was dragging it across the floor, he had stubbed his toe on something. Well, reaching down, he found a 2x4, which for some reason, not a 2x4, a 2x4, which for some reason was lying on the floor. Now, for British listeners, a 2x4 is a piece of wood 2 inches by 4 inches in cross section. Well, he didn't want to stub his toe again. That hurt. So he just picked it up and tossed it onto the mattress. Well, he finally got the mattress into position, and he lay down with his head in the shadows, the moonlight passing over him and no longer shining directly in his eyes. And after a few moments, it had been a long, boring evening, and now there was nothing to do. And after a few minutes, Dave began to fall asleep. What's that? Dave could hear and see that something was crouched at the foot of the mattress. He could hear it breathing in and out, in and out. And as he looked and his eyes adjusted to the darkness, he could see a pair of bright, white, shining eyes that seemed to fade and glow, fade and glow, fade and glow. And they got bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And behind it, Dave could sort of make out in the shadows, the shadow of what looked like a person's body, a person or thing's body lying on the ground. And the breathing was going in and out and in and out and in and out. And that's when Dave figured it out. Nice try, guys. Trying to scare me, eh? Well, you didn't fool me for a second. Whatever that was. Guys, you can stop now, eh? Guys. Oh, and as Dave looked, the eyes seemed to glow and fade, glow and fade, glow and fade. They were getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller, as if the thing was moving and moving around and getting ready to jump, and its breathing increased in and out and in and out and in and out, in and out, in and out. And Dave began to think about the family that had disappeared. What happened to them? Where did they go? Did something get them? Did this thing at the foot of the bed? Is that what got them? Oh, and it was breathing in and out and in and out. And Dave was sure it was ready to attack. And it was at that moment he remembered the 2x4. He yelled out, "Hey, you there! I'm warning you. I'm armed. I'm armed. Back off, I'm armed." And as Dave held the 2x4, he thought, I'll hit it above the right eye, and then above the left eye. Damn, which one's the right? Oh, never mind. I'll hit him above that one, and then I'll hit him above the other one. At the count of 3. 1. I'm warning you, back off. 2. I'm warning you, I'm armed. 3. Ow! Ow! I was the one that picked up the telephone when it rang at 3 that morning. On the other line was a pissed-off nurse at the Oakville Trafalgar Memorial Hospital. "Can you come down here and get your brother David? He's broken both his big toes with a 2x4. Well, the moral of the story? If anyone ever dares you to spend a night in a haunted house, just say no, which works well for so many things in life. Just say no.